We're actually very, very nice people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wouldn't be otherwise.
All right, hello everybody, hello YouTube world, YouTube family, how you guys doing? Welcome to another night of Mentally Monday.
You practice that.
All right. So today, guys, we have with us, to my far left, we have,
Wendy, what's up, pigs?
nearer to me right here, we have,
Rejoice.
all right, behind the camera we have,
Stay on.
all right, a bit slow with this. We'll get there shortly. Yeah. So tonight, guys, we have a dear friend of mine. I know him for a few years now. I think it's 4 years, 5 years. It's high up there. He's a fellow chaplain, like myself. He supported me and helped me get into the chaplaincy space. As you can see, I'm representing chaplains of Australia. Alrighty. So this is for all of you chaplains. I've got a man who goes by the name of Max Tennyson. Welcome, Max Tennyson. So we're gonna just shoot a few questions down his way, and he will tell us his journey of chaplaincy, where it started, what is a chaplain, etc., etc. Alrighty, welcome, Max.
Thank you, Johnny.
Glad to have you here with us today. So, Max, the most basic but most important question tonight is, can you tell us about yourself? Who is Max?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Who am I? I'm a chaplain. Haven't always been a chaplain.
Yep.
I think we're going to get into that later. But
Yep.
I'm a chaplain with Victorian Council of Churches Emergencies Ministry, which is mainly when there are bushfires and floods.
Okay.
But it can be when there are, say, industrial accidents, suicides, house fires, when we minister to people who are in a time of crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And we just talk to them.
Yeah.
Mainly they talk to us, we listen. I'm also through VCCM, we have an Ambulance Victoria program. About 24 of our volunteer chaplains volunteer as Ambulance Victoria chaplains and talk to paramedics in the hospital branches and hubs. So same sort of thing, talk to them in their space.
Yep.
And I'm also a police chaplain.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I get to visit police stations and sometimes they even let me out. And I listen to their black humour.
Yep.
That's how they cope.
Yep.
It can be a bit dark at times.
Yep.
But I always say to them, I'm in your house.
Yeah.
You talk the way you want to.
So you are a husband.
Yes.
What else?
Father.
Well, okay.
Yeah. I have a son who's a golfer.
Ooh, wow.
He's a golfer. I just walk onto a golf course. I swing a club, but I'm not sure that I play golf.
Yeah.
My son can play golf.
Okay.
I'm terrible at golf. We go to the, what do they call it, the driving range?
Yes.
And I'm lucky, like, we're going to hold a bucket of balls. I think I hit about 3. Yeah.
I think she's
No,
being dramatic.
no, I'm really, really bad. Yeah.
Really?
I just keep swinging and nothing happens.
Okay. Well, we might need to go and have a look at it.
Yeah.
What kind of swing?
There was one guy who tried to teach me how to do it, but yeah. Anyways, that's a whole other topic.
And then she got married.
Yeah. Don't give up on it.
Yeah. All right. I'll keep trying. Maybe I need to actually go to an actual range. No, not the range. The other one.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a
Because I'm
coach.
good at putt, which is really strange.
No, that's not.
Oh.
Pat, no.
That's not golf.
Okay. All right then.
There are no windmills on the golf course to worry about.
To all the pat champions out there. If you need a chaplain,
Yeah.
you got a chaplain that can counsel you.
After some rounds of golf.
Okay, that's good. So, chaplain, husband, dad.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you do?
I'm trying to get fit
Okay,
or lose weight. So
Yep.
Sandra, my wife, and I go to a gym. We paddle around in the pool.
Okay, that's
and,
good.
Try and loosen up and all
Yeah,
that sort of thing. What else do I do? I watch a lot of television.
Okay, yep, that's
A
good.
lot of sport on television.
Yep.
I don't know why, because I'm a Carlton supporter and we don't win many games these days.
Carlton.
Carlton too.
Carlton.
Yes, I am.
We forgive them.
Commiserations.
We forgive them,
but
guys.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's right. Yes.
it's
To all my
alright.
Collingwood fans out there, I apologize for these people.
Hey,
Why Collingwood?
yeah, up the pies.
Collingwood. I did mention Nathan Buckley.
Ah,
Yeah,
well.
he played for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Can I actually talk about that? Someone in a police station the other day said, because they all swear,
Yep.
which I don't anymore.
Yep.
I think we're getting to that later on. And they said, "Oh, you don't swear, do you?" I said, "No, I don't. Don't have to. Don't. No." So you don't say that word. I said, "No." You don't say. I said, "No, I don't say that." They said, "So do you say damn?" And I said, "Only in reference to Tim Flannery
Ah, yeah.
when he said." The rains that fall from now on will not be enough to fill the dams. And then somebody said, "All right, so what's the worst thing you say now?" I thought about it and I said, "Collingwood."
Oh. They're gonna love this, the Collingwood fans. They're gonna love this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So over to the Collingwood fans right there.
Collingwood.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, you're on top of the ladder
Yeah.
come on now.
for the time being, yes.
Collingwood's killing us.
So Max, what does a typical day in your life look like?
I have several typical days because as a police chaplain, usually on a Monday, Tuesday, I visit my stations. I've got 6 that I go to. Monday and Tuesday I do three each. Any I don't get to on Monday or Tuesday, I do on a Wednesday.
Yep.
Then Thursday, typical Thursdays, I go into the VCC Emergencies Ministry office in Port Melbourne, and because that's a part-time job, paid part-time job, and we all seem to gravitate into the office on a Thursday and do our various jobs from there. So that's Thursday. Friday, Johnny would know, bit of men's ministry from our church.
Yep.
I go and have a breakfast and a coffee
Cuppa.
at a coffee shop around the corner.
Yep.
So, and of course, chaplains love coffee. It's a great way to
Yeah, that's
converse with people
Yep.
over a cuppa.
That's our tool right there, man. A cup of coffee. Yep.
Yeah.
Treats you, sorry.
Yeah.
So, like Johnny said before, many hats, lots of different things that you do. So, what are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about helping people as best I can. It's a very inexact science, chaplaincy. You've got to, because no two people are the same. So somebody might have, you go to a relief centre, for example, with emergencies chaplaincy, and say in a bushfire situation, not everyone is affected the same way. Somebody might lose all their cattle and sheep and their house and whatever. Somebody might have their fence burned down. So they're all affected differently. Some have been through it before because they've been on the land a long time and they're sort of used to it. Others, it might be the first time and they're really struggling. So everyone's different.
Yep.
So I'm passionate about doing that job to suit them as best I can to help them get over it. Because there is a stat, in an emergency situation, about 90% of people who talk out the situation, their circumstances within the first, say, 24 or 48 hours of it happening, don't need any health issues followed up on later on. Wow. Because they've got it out. And if we're any good at our job, we won't let them dwell on the circumstance as it is. We will say, so what are you doing moving forward?
Yeah.
Who do you need to see? Insurance, the council, do you need grants? What do you need? Do you need your fences fixed, whatever? So when we go to a relief centre, we'll find out where all the relevant agencies are. So Blaze Aid usually do fences. So if somebody's lost a fence, well, Blaze Aid's over there. You need a grant from state government or council. State government's over there, council's over there, DFFH is over there, council over there. Anything else you might need, and we sort of push them. And occasionally we'll go with them if they're really desperate. We'll go with them.
Yeah, nice.
That's good. So Max, and I might actually include Johnny in this one as well, since he's also a school chaplain.
Yep.
So when, what kind of for those who don't know, what does the role of a chaplain actually do?
Well, what we all say, our learning, and Johnny, I think will know this, we have one mouth and two ears.
Mm-hmm.
So we put our ears into operation.
Yeah.
So when we say we have a conversation or we have a chat, it's not like a two-way conversation. We might ask a question, an open-ended question, so that they talk. And it invites them to talk, and then we listen.
Okay.
We don't butt in. We don't fix or solve the issue because we're not trained counsellors or psychiatrists, whatever.
Yeah.
We're chaplains. We listen, and we might come up with an idea. Hopefully the Holy Spirit will put an idea in our head. We'll go, oh, that's a good idea. Have you thought of this? Not, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Have you thought of this? Or what about that? And I'll go, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Or they might say, no, not for me. I'll say, okay, fair enough, move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And chaplains do a lot of like referrals, so you refer to the expert. So whatever the need is, that's why you're listening more than you're talking. So you're taking in, okay, cool, this is the issue. I know an expert in that field. Here's a number, here's information, and go to that particular space, and they can help you with your specific need. It's just to facilitate support for a person and take them from one level to like the next level. We just like the person that's there, like the first respondent, so to speak, with the cup of coffee in hand.
Okay.
Yes. And usually the first referral could be a GP.
100%.
Yep.
Yep.
Refer to the GP who will know, will have some sort of diagnosis.
Yep.
And say, oh, you need a such and such, you need a such and such, you need such and such. We don't do that. We just say GP.
Yep.
We might think they've got such and such, but we're not diagnosticians.
Yep.
Yeah.
Send them to the experts.
Yeah. So there's a clear line of the difference between, say, a chaplain and a counsellor.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Different training.
Yeah.
We're trained as chaplains. Counsellors and psychiatrists go through a lot more training.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what made you choose to become a chaplain?
Ooh. At my old church, it's the church where I gave my heart to the Lord 20 odd years ago, the pastor was a very well-known chaplain, certainly in Victoria, if not Australia.
Okay.
And I just liked the way he operated.
Yep.
He was so kind to people, helpful. He helped me in a lot of things. I thought, I'd like to be like him. And I was working for a long time. And then when I retired, I was lucky to have early retirement. And I started out in the church food bank.
Okay.
And God just took me places from there. And with him in the background. He passed away, unfortunately, in 2019. But he was guiding me along the way too, with all of that. So I just wanted to be like my old pastor.
Yeah. Well, that's real. That's good. Yeah.
It's a good old journey. And tell me, Max, so like the journey to being a chaplain, so before you become a person that serves, like that, a chaplain is like a servant, right?
Yes.
Like I picture like a waiter or waitress where you got like this platter in your hand and you're just serving the community with whatever specific need they have, because it's in the fire department, it's like there's chaplains in prisons, there's chaplains at airports, there's chaplains in schools, chaplains in the army. So like there's a variety of meals that these chaplains are serving. But what's the journey that the chaplain goes through personally before they become a chaplain? Like what was the process for you, the old version of Max, to become this new version of Max that's serving the community?
I used to be a drinker and a gambler.
Yep.
I used to have a beer pretty much every day. I used to look at a form guide pretty much every day.
Yep.
And I thought I was living the life. And then through someone at a church that I finished up going to, it was a single parents group. My son was 3 or 4 at the time. It was at a kindergarten or daycare centre that he went to, and somebody there came up to me and said, I go to this church, and I was praying in this group for God to tell me if someone here needed the Lord.
Okay.
And she focused on me.
Wow.
She invited me to her twin sister's single parents group at the church.
Yep.
And I just sort of got involved from there. It just just eased into it. It wasn't sort of a snap thing.
Yep.
I eased into it.
Yep.
And it was one night, I didn't go to church, I just went to the group, but one of the other dads in the group was giving a testimony on the Sunday night, which was more youth, not the main service of the church. And he was a big muscly bloke. And he was up there, he used to take drugs, and he said, I used to put everything in my body, all this sort of stuff. And he found God and whatever, tears streaming down his face. And I'm sitting down the back with my arm over the back of the pews thinking, oh, come on, man up, will you?
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
What are you crying? Man up. And during that week, it hit me that he had what I wanted.
Oh, look at that.
And I thought, I need to man up.
Yeah.
And that was when I started thinking and getting revelations, and not long after that, gave my heart to the Lord, got baptised.
Yep.
Started the journey in the church.
Yep.
I was still working. Then when I retired, they said, come and work in the food bank, volunteer in the food bank. And eventually I was made director of Monash Community Care, which was the church care arm.
Yep.
We opened up an op shop, and I thought, I need to do some training here. Why don't I just do maybe some chaplaincy training?
Yeah, yeah.
And there were two sections. I did the first section, which was basic stuff. I thought that'll do me. And that helped me with food bank and the op shop as well. A lot of people came in, we had conversations.
Yeah, there you go.
Which was great. So it was a good opportunity. And God has a great sense of humour. He put us next to a bottle shop.
Oh, nice.
And we quite often had some, wayward, swaying people come in. Oh, it's good. How much is that?
Oh, my.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Was able to minister to them.
That's so
and
good.
Then eventually I got into chaplaincy through that basic thing. And then the head of Chaplaincy Australia said to me, if you want to be a real chaplain, you need to finish the course.
Okay.
So I think I did the original in 2015, 2019. I did the second part, which I think was brilliant. So it's not like I did the 3 intensives and the 3 intensives. There was a break in between.
Yeah.
So it was a bit like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Refreshing?
Yep.
A refresher,
Like a refresher,
on the
yeah.
original stuff, and then learning the new stuff. So it wasn't pounded into me.
Yeah.
I got a nice break, a gap in
Yeah.
between, which made it easier. It just went from there. I'd already got into VCCEM.
Yep.
It was our pastor Phil Kaiser who came to me and said, he said he knew I was a chaplain. He said the senior police chaplain he knew, would I want to be a police chaplain? Could I talk to the senior police chaplain? I thought that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So I did, and turns out they used to take ministers only.
Yep.
And I said, I'm not a minister. He said, oh, that's right, we're lowering the standard for you.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you. So I thought that was an omen. And since then they don't always take ministers.
Wow.
So that was good. And it just all went from there.
That is so good. That is so good.
So God has me on an amazing journey.
Yep. And so in terms of outcomes, like most areas of work or whatever often lack, you never ever see the result instantly. Most service industries, you never get the chance to see your, the fruits of your labor immediately. So in your situation, do you get much of that?
No, not really.
Yep.
Not really. With the police, not many of them change.
Yep.
All we can do is hopefully give them a little bit of relief or something like
Yes.
that. You would know with chaplaincy, we're not allowed to evangelise or anything like that.
Proselyte, is it called proselyting? Yeah.
Proselyte, yeah. I always say, if you open the door, I'll walk right through it.
Yeah.
But you have to open the door. I can't.
Yeah.
And just recently, someone who I wouldn't have thought started asking me questions.
Yeah.
Your beauty.
Wow.
But will say, what you're saying, it was one time the lacrosse fire in Spencer Street, the apartment tower.
Yep.
sometime later, they were doing what you call a recovery centre, where they have all the departments, and you go in for a grant or some help with this, some help with that, furniture, whatever. Salvos are there. It was at the Melbourne Town Hall, and VCCM had been activated for that, and there were a few of us there. And sitting over there was a couple, sort of an older gentleman and a younger woman. I thought, oh, well, I'll go and talk to them. I said, oh, g'day, how you going? Da-da. And I was standing, they were sitting, and he said, oh, I'm suicidal. And I said, oh, did it affect you that badly? He said, no, I've been suicidal for a long time. So I immediately thought, so if you were to do something, what about this lovely lady here? And she said, oh, I'm suicidal too. Oh, do you mind if I get a seat? So I sat down, we chatted for a long time about their faith, which was a funny combination of stuff. And I said, well, you've told me about your faith, can I tell you about mine? So that was a fantastic opening.
Good, yeah.
Make a long story interesting, they eventually left. As they were walking out the door, he turned with a tear in his eye and looked at me, and he waved.
Yeah.
Now, I've got absolutely no clue what happened to them.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that I've told you that story means I still think about them and
yeah.
wonder. But if you wonder, worry, are concerned about every person you talk to and how they turned out, you go spare.
Yeah,
you
true.
can't.
Yeah.
Sadly,
Too many, yeah.
But you've been blessed that you heard from someone
Yeah,
anyway.
that was quite unique. Yeah, I thought, okay, cool. It's good to know. But most people that are in this space anyway do it because of like love and passion, and are not looking for like an outcome immediately. There's like this thing in the back of our minds where we kind of know, look, all we can do is put the seed in and hope it gets watered and it grows, and we just believe by faith that something will, come out of it. Yeah. That's good. Okay, cool stuff. Alrighty.
So Max, I've got another question for you.
Yes.
I'm kind of interested in like the history of chaplaincy, right? So we know what a chaplain is now, but like where did it actually come from?
Well, I'd have to say the first and best chaplain was Jesus. Okay, so
Good answer.
probably every good thing comes from Jesus.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the history of chaplaincy in Australia is interesting. It goes right back to the First Fleet.
Okay.
Reverend Richard Johnson, who was a Church of England minister.
Yep.
But he was licensed as a chaplain on the First Fleet. So when that landed, he became sort of the chaplain of Australia, and he was in charge of religion in Australia. So so that meant he was in charge of all the religious services for 5 years. And so first church service was February 3.
What?
So we got straight to it.
Wow.
It was in Sydney Cove and probably under a tree because it would have been hot.
Yeah.
And so for those 5 years, he was in charge of all the services. He was in charge of the traditional baby baptisms, marriages, and deaths.
Yep.
What we call hatch, match, and dispatch.
Yep, yeah,
Okay?
hatch,
So he did all of that, and then it all unfolded from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good, I
It's
never
been
knew
a
that. Yeah, that's good
Very
history.
long time.
Yeah.
Well-
Well, also like into the story of the Good Samaritan chaplaincy.
Okay, for our viewers, can we please explain the Good Samaritan comparison with chaplaincy?
Okay, so
No pressure, Johnny.
the Good Samaritan. A man gets robbed. He's laid on the roadside.
Yep.
He's got no supports. He's got nothing on him. A priest walks by him. A rabbi walks by him.
And continue on their way.
Continue on their way. They just look. The one crosses over, looks, goes across, and a Samaritan comes by. So Samaritans back in the day were viewed as unclean themselves, and they weren't perfect people. They weren't good people, etc. So the Samaritan takes a gander at the man laying on the roadside and offers the man support. Takes him to an inn,
Yep.
gets him sorted, leaves money for him for care, goes away and comes back. That's the gist of the Good Samaritan story.
Yeah.
Have I left anything out?
No, I don't think so.
So that's the gist of the Good Samaritan story. And it's basically somebody who did something for no return, even though they themselves were frowned upon. Because again, chaplaincy is not a thing where we celebrate it. Like there's no official,
Is there like a chaplaincy day?
not that I know of.
No.
A
I
mass?
have a day for everything else, so I was just wondering if
No,
that chaplaincy day.
Donut day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so chaplains aren't celebrated, they aren't patted on the back. There's like, not that chaplains want that, but chaplains are typically people that are just like, they function in the grey, where we come in, we do what we got to do, and we slip out, and we continue doing other sort of stuff. So yeah, that's the Good Samaritan story.
The Good Samaritan met that man where he was at
There you go.
and did something about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saw that he needed something,
Yeah.
and that's what chaplaincy is about. It's not, you don't sort of look at someone in a certain place or in a certain way,
Yep.
and you don't say, well, he's not. So if I'm a police chaplain, I can't. It's not that I can't talk to firefighters.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So when we're in an emergency setting, if there's anybody else who might be a little bit lost, might have seen something that they shouldn't have,
Yep.
I always say, especially to the coppers, we're here for the people here. We're here for you too.
The community,
If
yeah,
you're
the
if
entire
you know if
community.
you've been here for day after day after
Yeah.
day, you've seen something you shouldn't have. You've been pulling double shifts, that sort of thing. Interesting. We're Victorian Council of Churches. A few groups went to Lismore for those big floods around Byron Bay in 2022. And we were there to look after the people who had been affected by the floods. We discovered there was a big room with all the agencies, and there was another big room with all the insurance companies,
Okay.
and they were getting hammered by the people. And we discovered some of those were like us, had come from Victoria, come from the insurance agency's headquarters in Melbourne. They were there for much longer than us. They hadn't seen their families for up to 2 weeks.
Look at that.
They were struggling. We thought, well, we need to look after these people too.
Yeah.
So we said, look, we're here for everyone else, but come on, how are you going? We're here for you too. And at one stage, they had a big barbecue for everyone, bit like a Bunnings barbecue, sausage sizzle. And my partner, the girl I was partnered up with, she said, I'm going to grab some sausages in bread and take them to all the insurance people.
Oh, nice.
I thought, I wish I'd thought of that. That is a brilliant idea. So
Yeah.
she grabbed a big tray and we folded the bread and put the buns on and the serviette.
Yep.
And we carried a big tray in to each one.
Yeah.
So that's chaplaincy.
There you go.
It's not necessarily listening to people.
Yep.
It's meeting their need.
Meeting the need, yeah, there you go.
And it's quite often, as you would know, it's quite often meeting a need with a crutch, like a coffee,
Yeah.
or a packet of Tim Tams,
Yeah.
or a hot dog,
Yep.
whatever. And it gets people, it loosens them up.
Max, why didn't you come with Tim Tams here tonight? Like my favourite.
If I'm honest, I ate the whole packet in the car on the way here. Sorry.
Chaplains, we serve the community. So whoever's in need, if somebody's on the side of the road and they need support and whatever the case is, we don't care color or creed, who you are, man. We're here to serve you because that's where the need is. That's the idea of community. We're not exclusive to one particular sector that we only serve. If you're a Christian, then only can we give you our services. Nah, man. Regardless of who you are, what you are, where you're from, chaplains are designed to help a person that's in need. That's it. That's it. It's as simple as that. Am I right in saying that?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Can I tell you a story?
Yep.
It was a 2-part exercise. The second part was in Whittlesea, of all places.
Yep.
And I thought, well, I went to the first part, which was a little bit closer to home. I thought I'd love to follow it through. So it was an exercise, a relief centre exercise in Whittlesea, which involved role playing, and the council staff were the victims.
Yep.
And among other things, there was a Hindu man playing the role of a Muslim.
Yep.
So I
Oh,
ministered
gosh,
to
yeah.
him. But then after that, he said, I want to talk to you about your faith. I said, okay. So we had a conversation then about our differing faiths, which was interesting. And that was followed by a gay man on staff. Came up and he said, I've been watching you. He said, you seem to be able to get on with everyone. I said, oh, look, we all do. He said, no, you. He said, as a gay man, if I was in this situation for real, I would not approach a chaplain.
Wow.
And I said, why not? He said, oh, we get judged. I said, I'm sorry, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
We're all God's children.
Yeah.
We've got no right to judge anyone.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation along those lines. And at the end of it, I said, so would you talk to a chaplain? He said, yeah, I'm more than happy to give it another go.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Anybody goes to mechanical panel beater for help for their vehicle. You know what I mean? Whether they gay, whether they Muslim, whether they Hindu, whatever the case, because my vehicle needs to get helped, whatever fixed, serviced, whatever the case is, they will take it there. And I think if folks view chaplains like that, that's half the battle won. Yeah, there you go. There's a message. I don't know if you guys heard the phones ringing and going off the hook before our sessions, and somebody has a question for Rejoice to ask specifically for Rejoice. It actually says Rejoice. I don't know, we're not good enough to answer this question or ask this question.
Spelled my name wrong, but that's
So it's the second to last one, obviously. That one there, yeah.
So, the second part?
That one there.
Yeah. How do you think young people can make a difference?
How do I think young people can make a difference? Well, probably need to listen.
Oh, there you go. That's an easy one, yeah.
Just listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take it in.
Yep.
Listen to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Value people of experience. For example, with police, all the high ranks, because of a new EBA, it's worth their while to get out. Take all their sick pay and whatever, and bail out. Now, VicPol is going to lose thousands of years of experience. So the younger ones coming through are going to be mentored by people who haven't necessarily been there that long. So it's going to be a huge drain on experience.
Yeah.
So my guess would be those young coppers won't be quite as mentored properly as they would have been if there was experience.
Yep.
So listen to experience. Don't necessarily take on everything that's given to you. Pick and choose, pick the things that suit you, but at least listen.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's the need for Mentor Me Mondays, where mentors come on board and mentor us young people. So before Joyce asks her question, Joyce, you know Joyce's most important question. This one here, Max, you got to have a sip of your coffee for this question, man. Okay. It's a very, very serious question. So, before Joyce asks her question, I think Wendy's got a question to ask.
Does Wendy? So Max, we've heard all about your chaplaincy. We've heard about how you came into chaplaincy. So, and that you're retired officially. So, what does it look like, say, for the next? Like, if you've got 5 years ahead of you, a good 5 years, would you stick with chaplaincy, or would you consider...
Max is like, only 5 years.
Only 5?
No, I mean, like, eventually, are you considering retiring, or you just want to stay in chaplaincy?
I'm having the time of my life.
That's amazing.
I am busier than I ever was,
Yeah.
but I'm happier than I ever was too, in work situations.
Yeah.
I was very pleased this week where staff at VCCM, only 6 of us, are getting a dress uniform.
Okay.
And I said, I'm very happy to be getting one too. Am I worthy of one? Because I'm only part-time.
Yeah.
And he said, no, we want you to stay as long as you can doing this role.
That is so good. More than 5 years, we hope that Wendy gave you.
Well, basically, as long as you can, as long as you want.
But some people just look for it like they go, okay, by the time I'm whatever age, then I'm going to be retired. But I think it's great that you have found something that you thoroughly enjoy. It's like it's your calling. And I think a lot of people need to be able to aspire to doing that as well. Right, to be able to find something that they really, really enjoy doing.
Yes,
which
for
is
sure.
what I'm trying to do too. Yeah.
But out of curiosity, Max, how many more years are you giving yourself?
How long have I got?
No.
How long's a piece of string?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Yes. What's the life expectancy of a chaplain?
I just didn't mean it like
What
that.
is together?
Oh no, I'll probably drag myself off to relief centres or up the stairs at Port Melbourne as long as I can, even if they need to put one of those where you sit on the side lifts up there, or just work downstairs. Why would I want to give it up?
Yeah. That's
I'm,
awesome.
That's really good.
with the AV thing, I'm sort of chaplain to chaplains.
Yep.
And I'm working with chaplains.
That is beautiful, yeah. How cool is that?
The absolute salt of the earth.
That is cool, man, yeah. 100%. Okay.
So Joyce,
Yes, my question. How many alarms do you set in the morning to get up?
One. And more often than not, I'm awake before it.
Wow, there you go. Yeah, there you
One
go.
alarm.
One alarm.
That
Yeah.
is so good.
Very rarely does it go off because I usually get about 5 hours sleep, and I get 5 good hours. So if we go to
That's
bed at
good.
say 10:30 or 11,
Yep.
I'm up at 4:30.
Yep.
oh wow, oh,
And you get like a solid sleep, right?
That's a solid 5 hours. That's all I need.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I go and watch golf on TV.
Nice.
you watch
Nice.
golf on TV.
Yes, try and pick up hints from the good golfers.
From the pros, yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's not working. I'm not picking up too many hints, obviously. Yeah.
I want to get into that
I
golf
can't
and
do
get
golf
my.
and I can't do cricket on TV. I like sports live,
Yeah.
but not on TV, especially cricket or golf.
Okay.
The two most loved things in the world, well, there's a lot, but the two that rank high up are sport and religion. Those are the two, like, you don't mess with those two things with people. Like, everywhere in the world you go, sport is high up there. When people are, when there's wars, when there's fights, when there's whatever, the normal resolution is, let's have a game of whatever, you know, and sports are so celebrated. And then religion is another one that's just rates high up there in terms of value systems, etc. And you find that if you can get a space where you've got the both, you are rolling. It's so good. The two most loved things, if you can make them work together, it's beautiful. In fact, yeah, it's giving me an idea. Yep. What's another series? So,
Oh, okay. Well, if okay, sorry, go on.
questions or comments? Any extra things you got to say?
I was watching something on telly last night, and I forget the name of it, with, what's his name? Yes, him. He was interviewing Adam Saad, who plays for Carlton.
Yep.
He's a Muslim.
Oh,
And he didn't shy away from asking questions about his faith
yep,
and how it affects his football,
yep.
especially around Ramadan.
Okay.
And he says, I've got to get up at 2 a.m. or something for prayers and all the fasting and whatever. And he was asking, how does that affect your sport? And he said, religion to me is more important than sport. And my sport has to fit in with my religion.
Wow, how good is that?
So that's probably a good lesson for all.
Yeah. Follow the yeah.
Okay, cool,
All right.
nice. I think we can wrap it up right there.
What's good, everyone? Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notified for our next video, and we will see you next time.